Hello. I am back today with an unboxing, kind of an unboxing. I've already unboxed it because I really wanted to look through it and get a good idea of the information that was in it and what was on the cards and all that stuff before I did this kind of a review. I don't like saying it's a review before I've really worked with a deck, but it's that in between. I've already unboxed it, but it's not quite a full review. I just want to maybe flip through, talk about what's in the book and in the cards in case you are interested in it. And this is the Witches Through History Grimoire and Oracle deck. And I'm so excited for it. So it comes in this box. Right? And it says, bring the power of history's most renowned witches to your personal divination practice. So I'm going to open it up. This is what it looks like. Opened up. This is the book. Comes on the top. It's quite a large book. It would be just a regular sized book in any library, right? On your library shelf. And I will flip through the contents really quick. That's what I always like about reviews and stuff, to know what's in them. So chapter 1 is what is a witch? Chapter 2 is what is magic? Chapter 3, wicked weather. Chapter 4, mystical medicine. Chapter 5, divination and soothsaying. Chapter 6, conjuration and evocation. Chapter 7, miscellaneous magic. Chapter 8, familiars and companion spirits. Chapter 9, devils high and low. Chapter 10, the suffering of Salem. The endurance of folklore isn't a chapter, it's just the end. Those are the chapters, and then it goes through sections. So the one section, the endurance of folklore. And then it gets into the actual meaning of the cards about witches through history oracle deck. Further readings, witch films and documentaries, acknowledgments, and notes from the author. So there's a lot of information in here that is, if you're looking for traditional witchcraft, folk witchcraft, as in from a historical context like the witch trials and things like that, different kind of information gathered through that. That's what the whole front part of the Grimoire section of it is all about. A lot of this, some people may know, it is a good beginner's overview of that information, and then has follow-up sections in the back for reading. And goes over, in each of those chapters that I mentioned, there's quite a bit of information. What is a witch? Conical hat. Why so green? A brief history of broom riding. Men and witchcraft, right? Then it goes to what is magic. So there's quite a bit. I'll show you some of they have a lot of the woodcuts, art images in here. Black, white, and gray areas. A note on magic around the world. Wicked weather, and so a lot of the artwork looks like this on the cards and stuff, which we will get into. There's quite a bit of that. There's a little mandrake root, and I will go through each one of the cards themselves. So back here we'll get to the it does talk about the spirits in there. Like I was saying, there's different witches from folklore, like this is Isabel Gowdy. And so the ones that it has in here, sections in the book does have like the history of that particular witch. Okay, so here's the section where we're getting into the oracle deck meanings, the oracle card meanings. And so this is what it looks like. And it's separated earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, I believe. It's the 5 sections. And it looks like there's 5 cards in each section. And they are separated out. The 5 cards are separated out by 2 spirits, whether they are deity spirits, land spirits, or historical figure spirits. there's two of them. And then there are familiar. There's a familiar spirit, an herb, and an item in each of the 5 sections for one of the cards. Yes. Air and spirit. Yeah. Okay. So, and you saw how big the little descriptions were there. So here are the cards. They come in the tuck part, or the little section part of the bottom of that. There's not very many cards. I don't remember if it said how many there were. I don't see it anywhere, and I didn't count it beforehand because here's the back. Herein lies tales of women, both wicked and wise, for open minds and curious eyes. I really like the artwork on that. Okay, so the first card is the Horned God, and it is an earth element. It says nature, masculine energy, and abundance. The second card is Circe. This is the order they come in, by the way, because I didn't reorder them. Protection, sensuality, and excess. Earth spirit, familiar, the serpent, transformation, rebirth, and hidden knowledge. The mandrake root is the herb for earth. Unpredictability, caution, and vigilance. And the item is the amulet. Luck, confidence, and grounding. Okay, now we move into water, and here you have Agnes Waterhouse. Intense emotion, culpability, and morality. The next spirit is, for water, is Mother Shipton. Awareness, gut instinct, and intuition. For the familiar spirit for water, it is the toad. Adaptability, restlessness, and change. I like toads. Okay. The herb is belladonna, illusion, trickery, and delusions. And the item is the cauldron, reflection, insight, and inner wisdom. Okay, fire, spirits, the devil, temptation, constraints, and negativity. For fire spirit, the next fire spirit is Isabel Gowdy. Pride, risky behavior, and slyness. The familiar spirit is the hound. Fidelity, ferocity, and conviction. The herb is foxglove. Energy, ambition, and productivity. The item is a wand. Inspiration, opportunity, and potential. Okay, now we're moved to the air element, and the first spirit is Alizon Devis, I believe. I could be pronouncing some of these wrong, sorry. Influence, rumor, and persuasion. This one I know I'm going to pronounce wrong because I believe it is a Danish. That could be wrong too. Guide, spanmonger, withholding, setbacks, and delays. Gyde. Okay, the familiar spirit is the raven. Intelligence, deafness, and inner depths. The herb is lavender, rest, calm, and positivity. The item is a broom, purification, cleansing, and clarity. Okay, now the last section is spirit. Last element is spirit, and the first spirit for the spirit section is Hecate. Liminality, transition, and crossroads. The next spirit is the Witch of Endor. Divine assistance, cooperation, and guidance. The familiar spirit is the Owl. Wisdom, spirituality, and dreams. The herb is Dandelion. Divination, clairvoyance, and spirit communication. And the last card is the Torch. The item is the Torch. Enlightenment, hope, and manifestation. So that's all the cards. I think I'm going to do my first little reading with you guys right here. And we will see. I'll just do a 3-card reading, and I'm going to pull out of the book the meanings out of the book. We'll read them and get an idea of how they work. Also, this is what the back of the cards look like, which you probably saw while I was flipping them around, but I thought I would show you. They are thorns and snakes. Snakes. It's a snake. There's not very many. It's 5 sections and 5 cards each, so there's only 25 cards. They're not super easy to shuffle when there's not that many of them, but we'll make it work. I don't do chaos shuffling. It just never really worked for me. Well, that's what I call overhand shuffling, I guess. It's chaotic shuffling. Like this. I'm not very good at it. Anyway. They are also, by the way, regular tarot card size. So this is a tattoo tarot deck that I have right here. They are regular tarot card size. I'm trying to cover like all the bases that somebody might ask. Anyway, okay. Okay, so the 3 cards that we got were the first one, Allison Devis. It's spelled like device, but I doubt that's the way that you pronounce it. Influence, rumor, and persuasion. It's nice. Well, there's not very many cards anyways, but because they have the air at the top, none of the cards are numbered, but because they have their section of the element, it's easy to flip to. Okay, poor Allison Devis was so convinced of her own dark power that she openly confessed to speaking with devilish hounds and harming the peddler John Law. Allison and her family lived within the thick mist of superstition and witch fear, which ultimately led her to believe she was wicked and deserving of punishment. When this card appears, it warns against being influenced by outside forces and intrusive thoughts. Rumor, criticism, and self-doubt may be in the air, but you must do your best to keep a level head and think logically for yourself. Try to view things from a different perspective. Influence, rumor, and persuasions. Like what I would get from this one is obviously talking about the influence of those around you and the ones that you're in community with, being able to stand on your own and decide what's right and wrong for you, or what's right and wrong in your particular craft, right? For your own magic and your own practice. What is it that you want to do, and not being overwhelmed with the influence of what's popular in community and the rest of it, right? The peer pressure, if you will, not being overcome by peer pressure. But I would say it's not quite as obvious as that. In this case, it's very energetic in that, like, oftentimes we will get the influence. It's why we shield, it's why we protect, it's why we have amulets of protection or wear crystals of protection, because the influence being, our energy being entrained with others around us, leads us to make particular decisions that we wouldn't otherwise make. And this is actually proven in the crowd stuff, right? Like you can watch a crowd of people. There are actually people who study crowds of people to watch the way that the energy moves through the crowd and then be able to predict or determine if something bad might happen. If the crowd itself is going to like riot or something, you know, that kind of stuff. Or the energy, speaking of riots, the energy that people have said overtakes them in the moment if they're in the midst of a riot, that causes them to act in ways that they wouldn't normally act. That kind of energy, that kind of influence can be seen on a more subtle level within friend groups or online groups, or just the influence of this is the way it's done. That's not right. Stop doing that way. You have to do it this way, right? That kind of stuff. So that's the first card. The second card is Hecate, liminality, transition, and crossroads. Okay, as the witch goddess of the crossroads and liminal spaces, Hecate appears when we are facing a transitional period. Perhaps you're at your own personal crossroads, a big life change, a beginning or ending of a relationship, a new job, or spiritual undertaking. Whatever it is, this card is an indication that this transition is necessary and a good opportunity for personal growth and self-realization. Let Hecate lead you down the path to bigger and better things. So being in this transition or crossroads period, it could be in the influence of this particular reading, it's talking about being which part of the crossroads you're going to be influenced to go down. Are you influenced to go down the part that is authentic to who you are, despite the fact that others may make fun of you for it or not see it as, we all have these sorts of insecurities inside where we're thinking, I'm not psychic enough, I'm not magical enough, I'm not like the imposter syndrome. That's what I was thinking of. The imposter syndrome, feelings inside of not being good enough at whatever it is that you're doing. It doesn't have to be magic or spirituality related. So you're at that particular crossroads right now in life, and you're being guided, and you're being encouraged to really dig deep. Maybe take some time at the crossroads and determine, without the influence of other people, what it is that is what you want to do. Whether it seems out of left field or crazy, or it seems like it's always been you, whatever it is, without the influence of other people chatting. This is also why we move in silence. Like we don't spread information about things that we think we might do or manifestations we're working on doing with other people. And it's not, most of the time people don't have a bad intention when they're telling you something or they're giving you their opinion, but everybody has an opinion, and that opinion comes with energetic attachments to it, right? It comes with influence over it. So here, this crossroads really needs to be done in silence, like the midnight at the crossroads, in silence, and with you and your guide, your internal guide, being who makes this. Okay, let's go into the next one before I ramble on too much about that. All right. Belladonna is the last one, which is water. Okay. Illusion, trickery, and delusions. Atropa belladonna is famous for its ability to cause hallucinations in small doses. When this poisonous nightshade turns up in a reading, it's warning us not to get distracted by illusion. Things are not always as they appear. We may have our rose-colored glasses on and may actually be getting ourselves into an unsavory situation. Clear your mind and look rationally at the situation before you and see it for what it really is. So this, again, we're talking about going in and being at the crossroads, right? You're being influenced by a situation of some kind, right? By people or the promise of something or whatever it may be that isn't necessarily for your highest and truest good, but because others might be telling you, yeah, go ahead, this sounds really great, promises might be given, that kind of stuff. You're second guessing your own intuition on whether you should move forward with that or not. And this card is really telling you, you need to sit at this crossroads before you make this decision and get really clear with yourself, tapping into your own guidance about which direction down this crossroads you want to go. Okay, you're not going to make a wrong decision. And the reason why is because even if you go with the illusion, even if you are influenced by others in this situation, you will learn that lesson. And we all have soul lessons to learn, right? There's no point in having regret or being upset about things that have happened and, oh, I should have whatever in the past. There's no point in that. You have lessons. You are contracted to learn certain soul lessons and to live out certain karmic patterns in order to move forward, right? So even if you feel in your gut, this is the right place to go, and it turns out it's not the right place to go, you can't make a mistake on this path because you have now learned this lesson through the school of hard knocks. Done, checked off the list, moving on, right? You've gained wisdom from that experience. The important thing, though, is that you make the decision based off of your intuition and your inner guidance, not through the influence or illusion of other people, whether they're intentionally being illusionary and a trickster spirit in your midst, or they have your best intentions at heart, but people are really more concerned about what they would do, right? What they're doing and what they would do. So when they're giving you advice, they're saying, I would do it this way. If this were my thing, this is how I would do it. I've done it this way, so you should too. They're not really considering you and your standpoint, where you're coming from and your perspective and the things that you want to get done in life. So consider that. I mean, it's always great to have wise counsel. And I always tell people you should have counsel around you, but you should be very particular about who that counsel is and not just anybody off the street's opinions on what you should do with your life. Okay? It should be very rigorous. The people that you get advice from should be living the kind of life you want to live, right? And in a better situation than you are in or that you currently believe yourself to be in. They should be at a place you want to be and somebody whose opinions you respect highly if they're going to influence you at all. But ultimately, you're the one that has to make the decision. And so long as it is without is done without influence or trickery, rock on, you're good. All right, so that is a little reading and a little review of Witches Through History. Oh, and by the way, since I'm rambling anyway, the way that I got this, I do quite like the way that it reads. I think it makes perfect sense. I got it to use the spirits, to work with the spirits in the deck on my altar, working with these particular spirits. So whether they are, I consider these the elder witches, right? Elder witch, witch elders. A lot of these as the witch elders of the sort of the ancestral part. It's this area between who are ancestors and who are spirit guides, which is why I just call them the witch elders. And working with these particular spirits in my own practice, that's what I got them for mostly. I will do readings with them, but mostly I got them to be part of my altar or when I'm doing a working, when I'm calling on those spirits. So I thought I would, add that in there. Also, it's great because there are familiar spirits in the deck. There are familiar spirits in the deck, and so we can work with those in particular too, call on them and have them in our practice. So, and plant spirits and all that stuff. Anyways, okay, I rambled on. That's enough of that. If you please like and subscribe or follow, I have this on several different platforms. If you're interested in your own reading, there will be a link to my website below, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.